Hello everyone, Pallytub here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. Also, a big Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I went on vacation with my girlfriend and her daughter. We went to the Magic Kingdom, which, is just right down the road, but we made an event out of it. I had a wonderful Christmas with my family. And on New Year's Day, I spent 14 hours playing Terraria with my dearest friends and just taking breaks for burritos and beer. So to say I've had a good week and a half would be an understatement. I've had a great week and a half. But I have been resting. I've been making sure that I'm good to go. I didn't want to get sick from all these festivities. And now we are back today to play some Kharazim. Kharazim is one of those characters that I was excited about coming into the game. In fact, TGN Squadron did a video where I had some input about the characters we were most excited to see, and Kharazim was my candidate. And because I love the monk in Diablo 3, and I was even excited that he had 7-sided strike, which was my prediction as well. But when he was released, all of my friends gravitated towards him, and I never really had a chance to pick him up. I tried him a few games on the PTR, probably 5 or 6 games, and I don't know, maybe the same on live. So I want to take the time to actually learn the character, get used to his playstyle, and develop my own build for him. I have one that I theory crafted ages ago. I don't know if it's good in today's meta. Today's meta has a lot of frontline, especially in Hero League and Quick Match. It's a coin toss, but we are gonna give it a go today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves on the battlefield of eternity. Is that right? It's the one with the immortals in the middle. I can never remember which one that is. Okay, we are going to go for Transcendence at level 1. Basic attacks are going to heal. I misspoke in my A to Z Kharazim video. By the way, the build's going to be pretty much the same. Every third basic attack heals the lowest nearby ally for 76, and of course that amount will scale up throughout the course of the game. I misspoke and said it was an AoE heal, and it is not. It's just going to smart heal, kind of like Lily's jugs, but oh, buddy, you are in some trouble over here. But in order to make it happen, you have to punch things 3 times. My build is centered around free healing from punches. Now, as I mentioned, I don't actually know if this build is going to be competitive in today's meta. I'm going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to go in here, we're going to have to win some games, we're going to have to lose some games, and really come to a conclusion ourselves. The enemy team, very strong front line. Sonya, Tassadar, Rhaegar, and Arthas Menethil? Are you kidding me? With this front line? That's crazy. They're going to be able to push right in here, and there's not too much we can do about it. So Kharazim's Q ability, Radiant Dash, is going to allow me to dash to any living thing with a health bar. This does not include buildings, but it can be a friendly target or an enemy. Then we have our W ability, which is a AoE heal around us. This is called Breath of Heaven. And then our E ability is what my build is going to be centered around a lot. This is the Deadly Reach. This is going to allow us to attack significantly faster and just heal our allies passively, just by dealing damage. And I'm trying to go for like a hybrid support / damage dealer thing. Now, we're not going to top the damage numbers by any means, and I believe this game I'm going to go for Divine Palm, so we're not even going to be dealing the 7-sided strike damage. But the idea is that we're going to be right in combat with our Artanis here. We're going to be right by his side, going in wherever he goes in. Good dimensional shift by the enemy team's Tassadar is going to secure his survival. But you know what? That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab the sippy cup and then join my friends. I'll let them know by pinging. Look at me being a good teammate. Kharazim is the only character in the game that can pick his trait. So you can actually go for mana return every 3rd basic attack, healing every 3rd basic attack, or bonus damage every 3rd basic attack. And it seems like people are interested in doing a kind of Morales stim drone on Kharazim basic attack build. There's been some interest in that. I don't know if it's any good or not. I haven't tried it, but maybe that's the new thing. Maybe that's going to be what all the kids are doing. He is very mana dependent in the early game, but this kind of levels off as you continue to progress. Once you get more healing talents and more ways to actually heal, you don't really rely on your blue bar as much, but as of right now, I am I'm going to let the team know, and we are going to go for Overtake. Deadly Reach attacks increase your movement speed by 30%. Again, just for reference, mount movement speed is 40%, so we're a little bit slower than mounts, but this is going to allow us to stick to our targets significantly better and deal that auto attack damage that we need to get our heals off. It looks like the enemy team is just trying to contest us over here, and it doesn't seem to be going very well for them. We are significantly ahead on these Immortals, and I'm just going to move in here with our Artanis, unfortunately getting stunned there a little bit, but I don't have to back out here. I could just sit here and trade, and then when we're getting low, we can jump to our Jim Raynor and throw off an AoE heal. And just like that, we do get the first objective of the game, and the enemy team's Rhaegar very out of position. Artanis not really noticing that in time, though. And I thought I jumped, and I did not, so I just healed for no reason. I am now, let's go ahead and look. I guess I'm going to push top. I am now using the Quick Cast On rather than on release. I feel like it's really good for Kharazim because you want all of your actions to be instantaneous. He really is a support that has the highest skill cap as far as reaction times in the whole game, I would say. You really are required to always be on the ball, always be paying attention, which makes him a difficult character to play and commentate, but a pretty good character to really get your adrenaline going and really be effective in combat and feel really good. I was just going in to attack that wall there to give our Sylvanas a bit more healing. Now we're just going to use our AoE heal, and it looks like we may actually just be able to secure a couple kills here. Diving in on Rhaegar a little bit deeper. Misclick a little bit, and that's going to allow Arthas to get away, but we are essentially just overpowering these guys, completely pushing them out of this area. And, wow, with Sylvanas up here pushing with us as well, this is going to be a very effective Immortal. Getting a fort and towers on the first Immortal is pretty hard to do, and we're going to get the tier 2 structures as well. I am going to go for Echo of Heaven. This is going to give me a second burst of healing from our W ability. Again, becoming a little bit more mana efficient, allowing you to put more heals out onto the battlefield, but also not really changing your playstyle much at all. You just need to stand next to someone a little bit longer. I'm going to go in here and focus this keep as hard as I can, actually getting the tier 2 keep with the first Immortal of the game. That is crazy. Unfortunately, I am very out of mana. We're just going to run this Sonya around a little bit again, using my Q ability to jump to allies to avoid some of that aggression. And now we can come in here and just punch some walls to continue to heal our allies without having to use our mana, of which we don't have any. So it was good that we had that option there so we could really help sustain them in battle. At the 5-minute 45-second mark, we've already done just about 20,000 healing. And we could actually come in here with Artanis and be relatively safe. Just going in to punch things, we're going to be able to heal him up, heal myself up, and anyone else that needs it in the area. And with Sylvanas, obviously, we're going to be able to clear this super fast. Letting the team know that I'm moving so we can go back. They're going to go for this camp. I'll ping that I'm on my way. I'll be right there. Let's see. Is there any other subtleties I'm missing out on here? Divine Palm is the ultimate I'm going to be going for, even though we are already ahead. We are just excelling in pushing power right now. Once the enemy team hits level 10, they are going to have some very good team fight potential. But we obviously do have that 2-level lead because we were able to push their defenses back so far. Lunara moving up in the top lane is going to be poking at the enemy team's Rhaegar. She just needs to be careful because if Arthas Metaphil gets one of those Qs off, one of those roots off, she's going to be in a lot of trouble. We are going to go for Divine Palm, as I mentioned, and this is the reason that I'm playing with the fastest possible keybind thing for SmartCast, because Divine Palm requires split-second reactions. What it does is it puts a buff on a friendly target. If that target dies while the buff is active, they will be brought back to life, and in most cases with a very healthy amount of HP. Now, if you have a super high health character, you know, like Cho'Gall, he comes back with a little bit, but for most characters, it's a very substantial heal. Now, the problem with this is the enemy team can choose just to not focus that target anymore once Divine Palm comes off, which means you have to cast the ability at the perfect time in order for it to be active on a target but for the target to actually take enough damage to die. And that's very, very hard to do. That's easily the hardest part of playing Kharazim. Most people just opt out of that challenge and go for the 7-sided strike instead. But man, we are just wrecking these guys here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to jump to Rhaegar here and just continue to apply pressure. Tassadar very low on health. Once he comes out of his dimensional shift, we can jump right in and try to continue to deal more damage to him. But unfortunately, our dashing strike is on cooldown for the time being. So we're just gonna rejoin the team here. Try to keep these guys alive, keep our Lunara nice and healthy, and then just move in and deal some good single target damage. We actually do, we suck at pushing. Kharazim just sucks at pushing lanes. But when he actually gets to a building or a single objective, single structure that he has to DPS down, using his E ability, he actually does a decent amount of damage. And the same thing kind of goes for when he gets in a 1 versus 1 encounter. He's able to just sit there and trade into the person and almost every time come out on top. And honestly, that's a lot of the mentality of what my build does. So this is not my damage. That was actually the damage of the minion wave. More so than me. Rhaegar was just tanking the whole minion wave. I don't really get it. There's really nothing for me to be pushing up here. This was the wrong thing to do. I should not have come up here. I should be supporting my team. I'll let them know I'm on my way. There was no reason for me to be top whatsoever. Can we come in and save our Sylvanas? Yes, of course we can. Little late on the Divine Palm. My cursor wasn't even in the right part of the screen. So the enemy team's moving in pretty hard. Here we go. Sylvanas is palmed, but of course she's going to disengage. And look how Sonya just chooses not to deal damage to her. And that is essentially how Palm is countered. Very, very hard to land. Very, very hard to land. She's apologizing for disengaging, which actually, I mean, you can't be too mad at people for that, because everyone's mentality should be, I'm going to die. I'm going to get out of here. You know, Divine Palm is one of those abilities that is really, really good in a duo queue or more setting, in a team setting, because you could tell your ally, look, Sylvanas, I'm going to palm you, don't run away. But in a setting like this, in the middle of a team fight, self-perseverance is always the best thing to do. So you can't really be mad at people for disengaging when you palm. You can't, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And quite simply, my palm could have been better. And that's what I was talking about. It is the highest skill cap support ultimate in the game by far. By far. So we are going to go for increased deadly reach duration, which again is going to make it so we can auto attack more in a very short amount of time and really just pump out a ton of healing. I wouldn't say for free. It's not for free at that point because we're using an ability, but very cost effectively to our allies. 5 members of the enemy team are top, and they're starting to catch up on XP a bit. Just going to apply some pressure to Sonya there. We're going to palm ourselves. I was stunned. I was stunned by the fucking Sonya spear. I was waiting for the damage. I hit it at the right time. I was like, ready to go. Here we go. Gonna palm myself. But Sonya used her spear at the right time and negated the effect. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because they actually don't have... Let me be sure about this before I say it. They actually don't have any other way to stop me from palming. So that Sonya played that perfect. She waited for me to be very low on health, then went in with the stun and did a lot of damage. Lunara is saying she feels OP right now. Lunara is in a pretty good spot. We have me going in for the front line. We have Artanis going in for the front line. And we have a ton of backline to sit there and help protect her as well. So Lunara is able to poke and prod at the enemy team and really deal a lot of damage. I'm letting her know that I'm on my way to heal her. And again, we need to stay by her for the second pulse of our W ability, make sure she gets that full effect. And the Immortals will be spawning again very, very soon. So we are going to try our best to secure these again, I'm sure. Didn't really need to use my W there. I could have healed everyone up for free just by using my E ability. And I think that's part of the subtlety that most people neglect on this character. So again, I'm not afraid of Sonya here. I'm just sitting here and trading. And now that it's kind of going the other way, I just disengage and reposition. We were able to deal a ton of burst damage to Sonya and actually sway the tide of that fight quite well. Granted, we had everyone on our team also focusing Sonya, so it's not like it was just me. But healers that also have some offensive prowess, like Kharazim, like Tyrande, they feel really good in combat. You actually feel like you're having a meaningful impact regardless of what you're doing in most cases. If you're healing, obviously you're keeping your team alive, and that feels really good. But if you're dealing damage on Tyrande or Kharazim, it's also a part of your playstyle that you should be doing. A very important part of your playstyle. And again, we're doing a lot of damage to these objectives. We're attacking how many times? We get a 100% attack speed and range increase for 2 seconds, for 2.5 seconds, because we increase the duration with a talent. So that's a ton of healing that we're outputting for basically free. A ton of extra damage we're doing for basically free. And now we're going to reduce the cooldown every third basic attack, which means that we could walk in here and trade a lot. And there's really no downside to it. Trying to disengage here, we're going to jump to the Immortal. Looks like we are winning this fight. It's completely one-sided. Completely one-sided. The Purifier Beam coming out on the enemy team. Sonya, she's going to have to spin to win just to get away from it. She's very, very low on health now. We'll come back in for some more heals. And it looks like this is just going to be the end of the game. Looks like this is just going to be it. Oh, you're out of range! I got you! I saved her! I saved her with the palm! Okay. Alright, I'm glad I saved someone with a palm this game where I was going to just beat myself up. So obviously that was very, very one-sided, and not all of our matches are going to go that way. This build worked because we had a good front line, first of all. Let's go over my talents. This build worked because we had a very strong front line that was always moving in, plus a very competent back line that wasn't letting people just secure them. They were kiting. They were doing the right things, especially our Lunara player. She played very well. If the enemy team, let's say, was comprised of some more assassins or something that could focus me down a little bit easier, we would want to change this up a little bit. But for what we went up against, my build actually worked pretty good here. We are going to be making adjustments as we learn the character a bit more, though. So, level 1, we did go for Transcendence. Every third basic attack heals a nearby ally that's low on health. It's a smart heal, so it's going to heal the lowest ally first. And generally speaking, it's a good way to sustain yourself. You can actually go in and take mercenary camps pretty easy on Kharazim, and not many other healers can actually do that. Not many other supports can actually do that. So that's very, very strong. Again, I have a E focus with my default Kharazim ability because I like to go in there and just punch people, deal some damage, and also dish out the heal with Transcendence at the same time. So we did go for Overtake at level 4, which basic attacks while Deadly Reach is active increase your movement speed by 30% for 2 seconds. Allows you to stick to a target a bit easier and deal that damage a bit more and heal a bit more. Fist of Fury at level 13, again increasing the duration by 50%, just means you could do more of everything I just said. And Blazing Fists, every third basic attack reduces the cooldown of Deadly Reach by 1 second. So if you're able to just sit there and, again, I talked about Kharazim's power in regards to trading into, let's say, like keeps, forts, or objectives like the Immortals that we just went up against. Essentially, you could just always be Blazing Fists if you're not under too much of a harassment by the enemy team. Because you attack so fast, with all the buffs we got to our E ability, essentially you don't have much of a cooldown on it at all, and you can always just be attacking very quickly and healing for a ton. At level 7, we did go for the best healing talent. Breath of Heaven heals a second time for 50% of its maximum power. I'm looking for my drink. I guess this is it. You know, these little tiny Sprite cans just make me look like I have really big hands. I don't. And then level 10, we did get Divine Palm. Extremely hard to use, requires perfect reaction time, requires your team to always be like trusting you, which is hard to do in a quick match setting. We already talked about that enough, but very, very rewarding when you are actually able to land these. Definitely better in a team setting rather than a quick match setting. And at level 20, I would have gone for Storm Shield, but I would have used it very early on in these fights. That's something that's worth mentioning. Most other characters I take Storm Shield on, I use it late. Like on Malfurion, I wait for my Tranquility, and then Storm Shield on top of the Tranquility, so basically no one's health ever moves. But on Kharazim, I actually use the Storm Shield very early in a fight, because I don't want there to be any interference with the Divine Palm. So that's kind of interesting, something to note. Thank you all for watching today's video. I hope you sincerely enjoyed it. I'm going to be working on this guy a little bit more, trying out a few different builds, and I hope you guys look forward to it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.